Revernauts. It's Chief Engineer Rever, and I am back again looking down at the Reverstan Space Agency. And we have got quite a few missions on the go. Let's take a look at our mission control real quick and look at our active. So we have maxed out the number of missions that we can take. So in some ways there's no point in looking at what's available and all of that, right? And let's take a look at what we've done. So we have all of them started except for one. So the one that we don't have started is the manned Kerbal landing. And I was looking at it a little more closely. And in the old days, we used to have to fly over to that pylon, which I don't believe we have to do anymore. I think we just have to go over 500 feet and with no parachutes, wings, whatever, and then land again. So I think that we can just kind of go straight up and hopefully come straight back down and land safely with probably Pajar, because we only have two astronauts, Pajar and Radomir at this point. So let's see if we can't build a really simple craft that will just give us enough juice to go up and come back down, right? So let's leave the facility and just get right into it. We'll take a look at the tracking system if this goes well, and we haven't used up most of the episode at that point, and we'll see what next missions in a minute. But let's not worry about that now. Now, I don't know exactly. I think we're just one person, right? These other ones are a lot heavier. I think we're better off, like this command pod weighs twice as much as this, even though we probably would have a two-man mission, but with the added gravity, I think we should just start with this guy, right? Now, we don't have the fuel piping, but I want to make kind of a broad vehicle. This is kind of what I've made like in the distant past, if I'm remembering. So rather than put on a fuel tank, do we have something that we can use? Yeah, let's try the Science Junior. How big is that? Oh, that's little. We want something bigger than Science Junior. I don't necessarily want to scale that up. I don't know. How about structural? Structural element. That's kind of taller than I was picturing. How about payload sometimes? Yeah, this thing's kind of round. Yeah, that's about what I was looking for, because I'm looking for something. Let's see, can we do... Yeah, let's do two of these, one on either side, right? Yeah, let's lower them down just a bit. And the reason is I want to put on a, let's do command and control. This one. Let's put this on there so that we got plenty of command and control. And we'll try to lower these down till it's a little further. Yeah, there we go. Right? Now all this thing has to do is go up in the air and come back down. So we have a fair amount of fuel. So let's look at what engines that we're going to have here. So what about the Terrier? Because that's little. This is really not made for atmospheric flight. Now, say we're not going to have enough thrust to weight ratio with that. So we have an engine. We might not even be able to do this. See, these things are massive. We don't need anything like that. That's pretty big. All right, this is bigger than the Terrier, right? Terrier had 14 at sea level. This guy has 29. Let's see. What if we put two of those on? Yeah, thrust to weight ratio is about right. Now, another big test will be, do we have... Yeah, we only have one landing strut that would even come close to working. Let's try to put it kind of as far down. Yeah, I mean, that's doesn't give us a lot of room, but if we put two more of those on, right? Assuming we don't crash and burn. Yeah, does that look... That looks pretty even, right? Now, the only other thing, we're not allowed to have any parachutes at all, so the only other thing I think we would really want is maybe to make sure we have enough electrical juice. I'm assuming 1 minute burn time would be good. Let's see, can we put on... Yeah, that should give us, what does our little battery thing here say? Power drain 124. So that's that's pretty good, right? Like, in other words, I don't think we're going to use a lot of power, but just in case. So like 124, 126. And if we're not close to the ground by the time we have 2 seconds left, then that'll be, you know, that'll be other issues at that point, I think. Well, then again, we're not going to burn as much. So do we put another battery on there just to be... Yeah, they don't seem to be cutting down on the... They're not that heavy. All right, we'll live with that, right? Because that should give us... Let's see here. Oops. Power drain. Oh, mains time. Never mind. 3 minutes. Yeah, you know what? I don't think this is going to take us 3 minutes. We'll see. If we start running... I don't know if I'm going to have time to focus on the power, but hopefully we just... I mean, I don't think we're going to use that stabilizer that much. We shouldn't be using that much other power, but I think that's all we really need. Now, when we go to build the real thing, you know, I think we need to talk about maybe duplicating this design. I don't know if we need these bigger fuel tanks. That might be too much, but we'll have to just worry about that later. But I think this is a pretty reasonable, go straight up in the air kind of design, right? Now let's make sure we have... Yeah, see, we have Adam, Pietro, and Pajar here. And, yeah, Pajar's the only pilot, so he's going. Okay. Well, let's save this guy. And what do we call it? How about be real creative and call it Kerbal Manned Lander. And we'll save that. Right? Look pretty reasonable, I hope. Yeah, like I said, we'll just try to take it slow and make sure we get Pajar back down to the earth, you know. All right, so let's leave. Oh, we didn't want to leave. We wanted to launch. It's all right. We can come back in real quick and launch. There we go. Let's launch. All right, so I want to put on... Well, I don't want to put on any throttle to get started, right? So that's down low. Let's put on SAS. So hopefully Pajar can help us stay steady. His life is in his own hands to some degree, right? So let's hit the launch button. We have no throttle. So we should have to go up to about 2/3 throttle, right? Because we have 1.5 and 2/3 of that is about 1. So let's get the throttle up pretty quickly. Keep an eye on our vertical speed. I don't want it to go up too high. It should start increasing as we burn off fuel, right? But we have to get up to 500. We're doing really well. All right, let's slow down. All right, let's start slowing down a lot more. Yep, we're over 500. Let's open up our mission thing here. Yep, we're coming down, but we don't want to come down too fast. A lot of dust kicking up from something. Hopefully we don't land on anything. We need to get down below 5, but we don't want to slow down too fast. I don't know why we had all that. 6 is good, right? 4 is good. 3 is good. Cutting the throttle a little bit. Did we do it? Yes. Yeah, that's a lot easier when you can just go straight up and down. Like before, we used to have to go to that. I don't know if you guys could see it, but it's right where the pylon that we did. If you watch the probe landing. So good. Well, that was quick and easy, wasn't it? I was really not looking forward to that too much. So contract completed. We got a little bit more science and we got some more prestige. So we can can that notice. All right. Very good. So let's go take a look at, let's recover the vessel. Good job, Pajar. Good job. Yep. Recover the vessel. So let's go take a look at our mission control and see what we do next, right? Let's see if there's any missions. No new ribbons, Pajar. You didn't do enough to deserve anything. Though you probably should have. I don't know. Alright, so we got that mission done. Let's see all. Yeah, polar orbit of the moon. Yeah, orbits of this. I'm not too interested in those at this point. And no SETI contract. So even though we got that, so we got to get some other things done, including the manned orbit for 72 hours. So I think we're kind of at a point where we should probably, let's see, the only other one, oops. Yeah, bases and stations could be interesting, but we're not, they don't give us any of those at this point, right? How about part testing? Oh, flight over, oh, at the launch site. So the Bobcat, yeah, you know what, are we, so let's say, you want to test at the launch site? Yeah, so let's, oh, do we even have that? Let's make sure we have the LVTX87. Let's go in here. I think that was an engine, right? LVTX. Yeah. Well, here, since we have this guy on there already, let's... can we just... let's get rid of all of that. And let's just stick a fuel tank under there, right? Can we do this mission, I hope? Yeah, let's... now, you know what? Let's just not save this. We should be able to just go out there and... hopefully we don't even go up in the air. Let's... can we do it without... moon landing? Oh, do we not accept the mission? I thought I did. Okay, let's go back out. That's right. We just went to check to see if we had it, and then, but that's right. It should auto save it, or no, yeah, it should auto save it. So let's part testing. All right, now let's try this again. Not the most smooth YouTubing there, is it? But that's all right. All right, so now without the throttle on, can we just hit the staging button? Yes. See, you want to look for those missions. Yep. There we go. That was a quick 500 or 5,800, right? Good. So let's recover the vessel again. Hey, we did another mission. Yeah, so I'm not seeing any other missions. Let's get out of there and let's talk about what we need to do next. One thing I want to do. Let's go over to this. Well, let's go and turn on the Kerbal alarm clock. So the Moon probe lander leaving the orbit would be the next thing that we need to do. So do we have time to fast forward and then actually land it? I think we do. But before we do that, I want to change the name of it. And I also want to change the name of, let's go into the tracking center. And I do want to show you guys that something else I got. We could turn on and off these different orbits, right? Because there's just getting to be like way too many of them. But you also turn off the satellites so you can't select them. So there's a mod called Too Many Orbits. But in any event, let's look for the one that is... yeah, see, this guy is the one we're going to have a problem with right there. MinMissat. That I never renamed that. I want to rename this guy. So if we come here, we should be able to... instead of MinMissat, why don't, since this orbit's going to be like kind of way out there, let's just call it high. well, you know what? How about mid-orbsat? Because I don't know if this is really that high. And then how many other mid-orbsat? 1 mid-orbsat, 2 mid-orbsat. So yeah, this will be mid-orbsat 3, right? And we'll just accept that. It's really a relay, isn't it? Now these other ones, yeah, mid-orbsat relay, probe. Okay, good enough. So there we go. So I wanted to rename that guy. And then let's go over to Moon Probe Lander. We can do it right from here, right? And then, yeah, let's fly the Moon Probe Lander. Now when we do this, I'm a little, well, really we just need to get into orbit. And I think what we'll do is maybe, well, let's just see the timing of everything. So let's come back to N. Or N for me. I changed it so the mute button is different. So if we, yeah, Flight Engineer, go away, Flight Engineer. There we go. All right, so now there's this right here. I added too many orbits mod, right? And if we enable it, look, it gets rid of a lot of the cluster. Now, I don't mind seeing the satellite connections at this point. And you can also like hide the vessel icons, but I kind of like to see those. Those don't bother me. And then plus you can still more easily click on them, right? And then we could actually hide the celestial bodies or the orbits, but I don't mind seeing those. It's like, this is just much easier to look at. Like, I don't know why they don't have that in the game. Like, even when I forgot the name of the mod, but I knew I had something like that in the past. And when I looked it up, you know, I ended up watching the guy's video, and it, you know, he even said, I don't know why this isn't the game. It was like a 4-year-old video or 3-year-old video. So anyway, so there we go. So we are now flying in the orbital probe right here. So we need to advance our time up to there. So let's see if we can't do, yeah, let's get the Kerbal alarm clock. So what are we going to do here? So by the time we get to an orbital probe, here, let's start fast forwarding. I don't think that's going to hurt us because it's the first one up there, right? Leave the orbit. Yeah, so I think we got enough time to at least do this maneuver before we'd have to do the maneuver for the orbsat there. So this should zip us right up to here. There's the moon coming in to greet us. Let's, there's the moon. Yeah, that's a pretty cool shot with the moon and the sun. And let's, yeah, delete on close the alarm. So how are we doing? Our system's looking good, right? Our battery thing is green there. And we're still in contact with the planet, right? Yep, very good. So we are connected. Let's get rid of the Kerbal alarm clock. So, yeah, 1 hour versus 5 hours. So we still have plenty of time before we have to worry about that. So I think we're going to we might even try to land this guy in this episode. Let's keep it moving for that reason alone. All right, let's close that. Let's open this. Yeah, so I don't see anything wrong with that maneuver other than we might want to consider getting into a more equatorial, or do we just, well, I just don't think we even worry about that. So let's see, now that we're out here, what is the periapsis? Yeah, 28. What is the apoapsis? 80. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. Okay, well, let's just see what happens when we fast forward again. Now, there we go, changed our view, but it's slower. Yeah, we went down to 50 times. Can we do 100 times? Here comes the moon. Now, how about science? Just a materials study. Yeah, that's right, because we already did some science, right? Because we already have this moonsat. So now the moonsat could help us keep, oh, look at that guy is helping us. Mid-orbsat 2 is helping us keep an eye on things, right? Yeah, the good news is that when we do this maneuver, we'll be connected. And there you go. Look, this guy's helping us. And we are definitely going to get captured here. Let's, there we go. So we're slowing down. Let's go over to the node real quick, even though it probably would have done that. Yeah, let's take a look at the real camera. Where is the moon? I can't believe I can't find it. Should be somewhere. Should be somewhere around here. There it goes. You would think that wouldn't have been so hard. So there we go. So we're pointing in the retrograde, and which means we're going to slow down. So we're going this way. All right. And we're coming in, which makes sense because Kerbin should be over that way. So I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys, but all right, let's fast forward a little bit to the actual maneuver. I want to manually slow this down. It's only a 10-second burn, so we can get pretty close. There we go. There we go, we're in orbit. Hopefully this works out well. Nicely done. Okay, well, now that we're in orbit, what we want to do is make sure that we land over here, right? Like where we can, but we're going to probably have to start where we might be out of radio contact. But this is where having all these different relays helps. So even having this guy, he's not quite in the right position, but he might be in a spot to help us get a connection. So let's see, if we started burning this is different than we'll start burning at the periapsis, right? Let's just see if what happened there. Let's burn at the periapsis. We're going to burn more. Yeah, now the only other thing in my experience is you want this to go a little bit long, right? Yeah, see, this is kind of all deceiving. So let's oh, no. All right, come on, stop it. Yeah, let's go a little bit more prograde. In other words, if we tried to do this, we would probably end up landing further over this way. So this is going to change things a lot because we're not in a centric orbit. But let's start, right? Because as we come down, we're going to be hitting the throttle to slow down there. All right, so let's execute that maneuver. And it should execute it whether we have a communication or not, but we should get our communications back. Now the only other negative is we'll be on the dark side, right? But this will land us, I think close enough that we'll get some electrical power back, right? Yeah, I think that's a pretty good plan. All right, let's try it. Now I'm going to do something else here. I'm going to hit F5. So that if we have a problem, we can come back to this point if we really want to. We'll have to debate that, right? Do we keep it all on the up and up? All right, let's get rid of too many orbits. We got our flight computer. Now when we come down, we're going to have to hit this retrograde button, right? And then at some point, we're going to have to switch over to the custom, which will be pointing straight down. So does that make sense? At least that's what I'm going to try to do. All right, so let's keep this view for a little while. Oh, you know what? We need to, let's go back over here. We need to get all set up, don't we? Yeah. How much extra delta V do we have? We'll show the engineer again. Yeah, we wasted 765 delta V, but all right, let's blow this guy off. That was the shield that we got rid of a long time ago, the aerodynamic shield. All right, here we go. Throttle down so we don't. All right, there we go. So let's extend our. I don't remember all that noise in the past. There we go. So we are, we are a satellite. So let's have this guy head over to the node, which should be retrograde when we get all the way around to the other side. It's prograde on this side, but it'll keep us in the same orientation, right? Yeah, anything else? I mean, this guy is... Yeah, well, we're still connected, so... All right, let's just go for the gusto at this point, right? And go back to our map mode. And let's forward to the burn. Which is 26 minutes, so let's do 50 times because we don't want to wait nearly that long. And see, we should lose the connection very shortly here. Yeah. Oh, look, we're connected through that guy for a little bit extra long. So I like the fact that it's kind of automatically connecting us and we don't have to have it targeted and all. Or maybe it's because the other one is, hey, look at that. We maintain connection. There we go. We lost connection. Okay, it's slowing us down on its own. Very good. We got our connection back. Yep, delete on close. All right, so now let's come into here because I think this will be much more dramatic scenery. Let's close. Do we want this open? No, we're going to rely on this and this as we get in there. So let's close this and this. Let's have a sip of coffee while we wait a second. All right, so now let's just fast forward a little bit of time to get up to this. So we're going to try to do this, but I'm not touching the controller or the keyboard specifically. Oh, I wasn't paying attention because I was talking. Let's go down a little bit. It's only a 2-second burn. Now what I will do is I will work the throttle manually, I hope. Oh. There we go. We're out of orbit. Now let's hit this guy to prograde negative, right? So we should start coming down, and then at some point we're going to want to start burning, right? It sort of depends on, I want to make sure we get far enough in there. And as we burn, our retrograde should, like our orbit should degrade further and further to the point we're facing straight down, and then it's just a matter of working the throttle until we get it, point right there. But I don't want to do that until our battery situation is, let's put AmpYear up here. What is this? Our space program, suborbital space flight. Okay, on the moon. Good. Got some money for that. So let's fast forward a little bit because this is not very exciting until we get back to sunrise or something close to that. And we should have plenty of time once we get to sunrise. Come on, sunrise. Hopefully we time this well. Yeah, pretty cool. We're over the moon. Yeah, we're not changing our orbit too well, are we? Should we have fast forwarded another level? Yeah, I guess when you think about it, space flight is not very exciting in some ways, Okay, let's slow down. We'll go a little bit further, but we'll let this guy reorient a bit. Yeah, let's go a little bit further. I don't want to make sure we don't land. I want to land where we're definitely going to have some sunlight for the initial landing. All right, so let's fast forward a little bit more. We're coming down anyway, so it's not, we probably want to come down more, but we can, like I said, start to burn Plus we should probably start looking for a flattish space, right? So let's do 5 times. Like we wouldn't want to land right there, would we? Hopefully we'll land. Yeah, how about we try to get over this guy and start, yeah, because it looks kind of flat up there. All right, so now, see what I mean? We're starting to face down, so as we, you know, I'm not sure how well to do this, but, you know, as I start to burn a little bit, we'll start slowing down a bit. Yeah, that looks like, in other words, when we burn here, we're going to stop our forward momentum a lot. And as we stop our forward momentum, we'll start falling down, which will change this, which should actually make this a lot easier than you might think. Like when I first started trying to do this, I was making it a lot harder on myself. Now, the other thing is we do have to slow down quite a bit, right? So we don't want to get too close to the planet, but or the moon. All right, so once we get over this crater, where we're pretty sure we're going to pass it, this looks like as reasonable a place to try to land as any other, right? So let's just start taking some orbital velocity off, right? And you should start seeing that we're, like, this ball will go up. Now, the only other thing is, we want to, oh, we don't have any rotation. Oh, I don't have any rotation control on the control. So when this starts really moving, I want to let off the throttle. See, it's starting to move now. Basically just hitting the brakes, but as this moves up, then we want to, you know, keep going down. We don't want to slow down too much. Now this should be a lot easier. Yeah, the other thing is I don't know if I should have kicked off all of that. There we go. See how it's really starting to move now? Cut down on the throttle. Because now we're starting to fall more towards the planet, right? So you see how it's a lot more gentle than on Kerbal, right? Like as we're coming down here, our speed doesn't increase nearly as much, but we're still up at 5,000, so we don't want to get going too fast. So we'll keep doing this a bit. And then I do want to put on the Kerbal Engineer for a second on the surface. Right, because we want to keep an eye on this vertical speed as well as our horizontal speed is 12, so kind of want to kill all of our horizontal speed at some point here, right? Just about all of it. Yeah, so now what I want to do is I want to just go into custom here. Since we're heading pretty much straight down, I just want it to hold us straight down. And now we're just worried about going straight down, right? We just gotta hope we have enough fuel to slow ourselves enough before we actually hit the ground. So let's hope that's the case. We're slowing down nicely, right? We can let off the throttle a bit. I'm looking at the fuel there. We're still doing okay. You know, I'm liking this. This is going what I would say is particularly well at this moment. I shouldn't have jinxed myself, but yeah, let's take off some throttle. 20 is fine. Like I don't want to come down too slow, right? Or we'll run out of fuel. Let's start slowing it down a bit. Seven, 6 is fine. Let's not hover. Is fine. Get ready to hit the kill button. You gonna right yourself? We have landed on the moon. Okay. Now the problem is our batteries are dying, huh? So let's yeah, well, I guess the orientation of that will change, but let's get our science and all sent off, right? Yep, transmit that science, please. Now, hopefully, okay, let's close some stuff here. Yeah, I don't know, you're flashing from red to green. Let's take a look at world first milestone, land, okay, let's close that. So world first, okay, let's get rid of these. Let's calm down for a minute, right? World first milestone, wonderful. Moon landing, yes, we have successfully landed on the moon. So we got 7 science just for that. And then now, we should have transmitted that. Let's close this flight computer. We don't need that anymore. Let's close this. Now, why are you flashing? Yeah, see, the problem is we sort of landed with the wrong orientation. Right now, let's just try something real quick. Can I change this to 0? Will you just pivot us around? Sometimes that might happen. Yeah, I could have probably just typed in the letter 0. Huh? Nah, you're not going to pivot us. That's all right. Yeah, let's see. Can we... Uh-oh. Yeah, stop. Eventually the moon will change, even if we can't get all this science transmitted, right? So are we... Yeah, we're good power for right now. So let's log the temperature and transmit it. What else can we do there? Telemetry. Telemetry report. Let's send that. And then that's the reaction wheel. What else can we do here? Pressure. Where is our pressure? Oh, down here. Yeah, we could do seismic scan. Good. We still have plenty of... Let's do pressure log. So hopefully we can get all this. We're draining our power off pretty good, but hopefully, yeah, we did all the science that we could. Now, can we do another seismic scan? Yeah, see, that is repeatable. So we could do that until, I think, until we get that completed in green, or no? I don't know. Well, there we go, guys. We have completed a moon probe landing. And we got ready for our manned landing. And you can see where, you know, compared to all the problems I had, this really went pretty well. Now, hopefully, the orientation here will change where we'll actually pick up some sunlight. And, you know, but in the meantime, I guess this guy can't really even act as a radar. He's just going to sit permanently on the moon. But we might as well just leave him there, right? Well, there you go. I hope you have enjoyed the episode. We are, you know, about the length of time I want to make one. And when we come back, let's see, what do we have here? Looks like we'll do some satellite maneuvering. Plus, we can also take a look at what SETI contracts are available. What is our next step? Because I have a feeling, you know, we're edging towards a man on the moon. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care of yourselves and have a good day. Bye-bye.